We're restarting the recording. We did stand for the pledge. We sat back down and we're having some technical difficulties, so we're gonna just try that again at the consent agenda. Seem to be working? Okay. All right, we have the minutes from the last meeting, regular minutes from the last meeting. Okay. Any question on the warrants?
I don't have any question like pertaining to the warrants really, except for on here, water testing. How'd that go?
I'm sorry, what?
How'd it go? What were the results?
Good. Every month, because we're a public entity, we have to have water testing. And then, about every 3 months, we get a report. If we turn hot or get a bad report, then we'll know right away. But, yeah, she comes in, Jerry comes in and does the water things.
Great. Thank you.
What are sped supplies?
Special ed.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Trying sped?
The only question I had was on mileage paid. We have a set mileage rate I assume we do, and
Yep.
who's,
It's a state rate.
oh,
Actually, the feds, it's a federal rate comes out. It's like 75 too right now.
I think it was 70 cents last.
Yeah, it was 70 cents now. It's, I think 725
Yeah,
now. So.
keeps going up.
and then the other one I had was estimates.
So our TILE program, when they do testing to help keep the kids focused, they'll buy mints. And so the kids will suck on the mints and it keeps them concentrated.
That.
Transportation contracts. We have one this year and then a bunch for this.
So yeah, one for this year, and then there are a few more came in after the board packet went out, but they're all current ones. So they'll be trickling in and they have until June 1st to get them in before they're not eligible.
There's no JV approvals this time. And we have one out of district that just. They just came in, the contract just came in late.
Yep.
And that's not too, that's, not too much.
Yeah, they've been attending that school all year.
Any questions on those items?
Nope.
The consent agenda?
I will make the motion to approve. consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, to the board members, you have an envelope in front of you. That would be the minutes. We had a closed portion of our meeting last month. If you do have any questions, we will go ahead and close the meeting. So please just let me know if you have a question before asking it.
No question.
Do you want me to close the meeting? If at this time, if we can close the meeting, we are going to discuss closed meeting minutes and we'll reopen shortly. We're closing at 3:38. So we just discussed one change of our closed meeting minutes. I would like a motion for approval with that one verbiage change.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Reports and recognition, student report.
Actually, can you go behind Christina?
Okay, well, hi, I'm White Doriga. I'm in 8th grade this way.
You want behind me?
Behind? Okay. Hi, I'm White Doriga, 8th grade. I'm on leadership and discussing what happened during February in our second trimester. February, I know our pause campaign ended and we all got to have, some of us all got to have a special lunch with Miss English. And that was really fun. We also had an extra recess. And now we're going to be running another I Know My Pause in the month of March. This time it won't be given out by our student leadership, but it will be given out by our teachers in our classes, etc. We also just finished our trimester 2. We had our trimester tournaments last Fridays. They were so fun. I enjoyed them. I always enjoy them. And we are going to have an award ceremony this Friday that is for attendance, GPA, and any other student earned, what are we gonna call them? Awards, acclamations, what is it? We also had our reading night in March. That was pretty fun. It was hosted by our, and I had a great time. I got some pretty cool books that I've already read through. I just want to run. So, our third trimester is gonna be great, and that's all I have for you guys tonight. Oh, we played dodgeball.
Just checking.
That's our staff team. I think we won that one. We did.
But it was pulling the guard. You forgot that one.
The dodgeball.
It came down to a tiebreaker too, so it's not like it was a slaughtering, like it was very close.
Those students were in here.
Just the adults.
Just you.
Thanks,
What? I love that of your hand.
what?
Thanks, Wyatt.
Yes.
And your pen back too.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, guest comments. Members of the public are encouraged to comment during this time regarding items not listed on the agenda. Chair will seek public comments on agenda items as they occur. By law, the board cannot take action on matters discussed during the public comment portion of the meeting, but may include a matter raised during this time on a future agenda. The board would like to remind everyone to avoid commenting on private personnel matters, private student matters, or pending legal matters. Do we have any public comments?
So I'm Mary Eli, the athletic director, and we just finished our girls' basketball season. Both teams worked really hard. And it was fun to watch them in the tournament this last weekend and this last week. So, yeah, it was fun to see the growth and some kids being able to step up when, having their moment to shine and baskets made. And so we're gearing up for cross country starting in March. So remember, that's kindergarten through 8th grade. So if you have any questions, reach out to Coach Counts, and we hope to see you out on the course. So, thank you.
I'll do one. I wanted to give Lydia a shout out. She did a wax museum last weekend. And it was, she was working on her biography unit and it was done so well. And I just wanted to give her a shout out because it was very impressive.
Cool. That was great.
It was on Class Dojo.
All right, we are going to move on to our first action item of the evening, our 26-27 Kyla school calendar.
Invite myself to your room. Just a second.
Screen started doing weird.
Can you approve me again? Thank you. So you had 5 calendars that the calendar committee came up with 3. after we had closed, there was an error found in the aggregate hours calculator that actually gave us minutes back. So we could adjust, and that's where 4D and 5E came from. They're very similar to 1A and 2B, but there's some additional early outs and or a bumped up end of the year. I just want to quickly go through this aggregate calendar with you guys. So we're in this region up here. This would be very similar to what we have this school year. I'll zoom in just a minute. But essentially this would have a few of our certified staff who are out during 4th and 5th recess, or I'm sorry, outdoor learning experiences. And that would include a portion of 4 through 8 lunch outdoor learning experiences. And so on these calendars, what we do as a calendar committee, just to double check, I just want to show you the whole thing. So it's very long, so I can't zoom in on all of it. But essentially every single regular day, kindergarten through 3rd grade, we have 335 instructional minutes. So then this calculator calculates, it's like movable. And then we have 390 instructional minutes for 4-5. We have 5 less in the middle school because you cannot count your passing time between classes. And then when we do early out days, here's our instructional minutes. So we don't have as many passing periods in the middle school, but there's our numbers. So based on the staff resoundingly voted for 5E, which is the last on your attachment in your PDF, this aggregate hours calculator shows our variances. So here we are over in minutes. There's some question about how did we have full days now and less days on our calendar, full days off and less days on our calendar versus this school year where we had more early outs and more days on our calendar. But essentially, we only have 3 early outs on this proposed calendar versus the last calendar had 10. So for every 3 early outs, you can take a full day off of school if we're going to switch to that mode. That's a very crash course into all of that, but all 5 of these options meet our aggregate minutes. And then we have always in the past talked about 4th grade being the one to watch. It's really our 8th grade. So I want you to note on here, our 8th grade does not, like this year, they come on a Monday for a half day and then they don't come on that lot because they graduate. They do not come on that Tuesday. So we can't just pretend like they're all excused absent. So this calendar is actually putting that in. That's why the 6 through 8 actually has 1 less day and 1 extra early out day than the other grades. But that's how all of that is taken into account, and all of it's been double checked by the committee and the calculator. And then so I asked staff to just put star, these are all printed in the office. Staff could star their favorite. Lots of comments from the community then prior to making all of these calendars. Some of them said 4-day weeks, exclamation point, times 75. The community very much wanted full days off instead of more early out days. And they wanted them on Fridays. So about 75% of the people that wanted early outs wanted Fridays. Staff wanted early out Fridays on the initial ask, but then in talking with, and that's represented with 5E being the staff vote of the majority, staff cannot take off, like if you were to look at 4D, any of these yellow days, staff are expected to be here. So it's a day off of student instruction time, but not a day off of contractual time for staff. So that makes it more, that Fridays are the day that most people choose to take off of work. Calendar committee members, lots of you are here. Anything you want to add that I missed?
We also I think almost every month has at least 1 or 2 4-day weeks. So it kind of gets us kind of testing out the water, the toe dip. I like how Liz always uses that toe dip into that potential look into that 4-day school week. So we thought that that would be something to also let our community kind of get a taste of.
Overall, I believe that our community would vote for 4D. I know that our staff has voted for 5E. Both are very, almost identical, with the exception of the PIR PD days being on Fridays instead of Mondays.
How did it affect staff? So under 4D, I said something about it affecting,
So 4D, all of those yellow,
yeah,
They're not allowed to take the days off, but, the kids are out.
right. But
So-
then 5E, they're allowed to take days off.
well, they can't take Mondays off, but people don't genuinely or generally take off or Mondays as personal days. They tend to take off
Oh, I
a
see
Friday.
what you're saying. Okay. I see what you're saying.
Very soon.
Mhm.
Need a flip chart.
I know.
I think it's
Um,
Friday versus a Monday. So
It's really,
it's just
And-
it.
Right. And so then the differences between what the calendar committee came up with, they came up with 1, 2, and 3. We just added A, B, and C. It was kind of fun. It was really funny in the meeting. It's like semi-funny now, but the additional half day, then we took off the half days prior to a long break. So that's, with those extra minutes, that's what was asked to be done with those.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but by taking the Mondays, then the community gets Martin Luther King and President's Day off, right?
They still have those on the
Or do
4D.
we go? Am I wrong? We were
Uh,
talking about with the Monday that would allow, because people have been asking about Martin Luther King. And
Yeah,
we were-
4D and 5E both have President's Day and Martin Luther King Day as days off of school. Yeah, so I'd say leaning more towards right. But both have those as pink, which means no school and no staff day.
so are you giving up PIR days?
No, they're just they're moved to the Monday right after both of those holidays on 5E, but they're the last Friday of the month on 4D.
Okay, so I see like on 4D, January, I see. Okay, that makes sense to me. Sorry.
Another thing, if we have children of our own that are in state competitions, like if that state competition happened to fall on the weekend of like one of those PIR days, then that makes it hard,
Sure.
for us to be able to attend those state competitions with our kids and
Right.
families.
Yeah.
So that was another thing we, talked about as well.
Earlier, you said that you think that the community would would probably lean more towards 5E and having Mondays off versus 4D.
The
Did you see that?
community wanted Fridays. off.
Backwards from
Friday,
that.
Friday's off.
Yeah, the community asked
for
for it.
Fridays.
I'm just pulling up that survey so you can actually just see, take a look at it.
Numbers, so did that say that the kids would only be in school 160 something?
They're 171 on most of the calendars. It's 160 some full days, and then the other columns had the half days. 174, 176, but
Six.
yeah, there's a,
I thought we were. That's what, yeah.
This is a survey.
so this is the original survey that got sent home to families and staff. So would you prefer one day off or 2 early outs per month? Pretty clearly want 1 day instead of more early outs. And then if you want 1 day off per month, which day do you want to? No one picked Wednesday.
It's like, right.
We threw it in because it's early out day for our like high school district. So we thought maybe that would be a nice partner. Clearly that's not
Kids now.
out of consideration or thing. I only had 48 responses to this survey as well, just so you are aware.
Roughly a quarter.
I mean, for myself as a parent, I think Mondays are a tough day to take off. Your work week is just starting. I have load meetings and everything else, so my response would be also either.
The majority of the staff here lean towards having Mondays off. Am I mishearing that?
Because they want the freedom.
The
to
kids
take
off.
Fridays off.
The kid's not
But
there
it's not
Sunday.
every.
See,
1, 2,
It's once a
4,
month.
5, 6. Well, there's only 6 months. EIR.
Yeah.
Friday.
Well, I would say as a parent and a business owner, Mondays would be hard.
Yeah.
To have.
Absolutely.
When we did send this out, part of this question too is that we would have an after school program on the 2 early out days. We would not have like a daycare program then on a full day. So parents knew that when they voted for the full day. Let me see.
Any questions?
This one's hard because we want to accommodate everyone if we can, everyone the best way that we can. I don't know if my wife responded to this. I didn't respond to it. If my wife responded to it, I'm 99% sure she would have chosen Friday.
Yeah.
Just because I see her working at 6 a.m. A lot of the time just to get ahead of things. And it seems like our community is pretty resounding also with what they're saying. So flip side of that, there's some very real issues with staff at school too, where they would benefit from having it the other way. So I guess that's kind of the crux of it. Yeah,
Well, it seems like on both calendars, it's all or nothing. Like 4 is all Friday, 5 is all Monday.
It's hard to switch back.
there'd be a lot of confusion, I think, if we switched back and forth.
Like for me as a parent, where you have Friday the 15th off, or I'm sorry, Monday the 15th off on 4D. And then the following week you have a Friday the 26th off. That's really tough on parents that work full time. I mean, I know that it is what it is. But this is why parents end up using their sick days to take care of their kids and work when they're sick, because these kinds of things.
Which one were you looking?
which we should.
40, like if
40.
you look at like on February, you have Monday off 1 week and then Friday off the following week for a parent who works full time. You have to ask your employer to do things like that, or
Yeah, and then on 5E, it would be 2 Mondays in a row.
yeah.
I mean, I voted Friday, but as devil's advocate, I would rather have consistency on a day that I don't like than just like.
Right, that's
my
fair.
first day that my kids not work.
That's fair. That's fair. Sure.
I think that was our thought process.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Keeping the consistency, so.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's gonna be what, Martin?
Yeah.
And the reason why we put in Martin Luther King is also because, a lot of the kids that have siblings at the high school, they don't show up.
Next year, School District 5 is taking off January 18th and 25th. So this year they did January 18th as like a PD Teachers Teach Teachers Day. This year they're just taking it off because many parents don't work on that day is some of the feedback. And then that 25th is their day of Teachers Teach Teachers.
Would it be easier on families if those days would group better? Like, say for January, instead of the 18th Monday, the 25th Monday, the 15th Friday, and the 18th Monday, but kids aren't here. I mean, for my personal family, I work remote, it doesn't matter, but just,
I don't know how to answer that as the principal right now. As a working mom who has kids at this school, my grandparents of some sort would be watching them, and having them have 2 days in a row is kind of tough for them. So they would do it.
I am the grandparent. too.
Shout out Terry and Jane.
Discussion, we want time to. Mull it over, we want more options, where's the board? Everybody at once though.
Well, I mean, overwhelming the staff want A and overwhelming the community wants B.
Yeah.
And that's where,
Which is going to be the conversation in a 4-day school week community forum as well. So
You got any thoughts?
You know, a lot of times I just like to bite my tongue and give it a little bit more thought, because like my initial reaction is, I want to support our teachers, and if it's not our teachers' responsibility to be dedicated for the kids, and it's my responsibility as a parent, if the school's not in session, like it's not gonna be tomorrow, right? I have to figure out my childcare, right? It's not theirs. So, but I do hear the argument, and the majority of people end up saying they would prefer to have Fridays off. But how bad is it? If we say teachers get Friday off, I mean, does it benefit them at all? Like, is it like enough? I don't know. That's why I feel like bite my tongue till I get more information.
Nick, you got any thoughts on this?
Nothing more. It basically comes down to like either option, whatever. It just comes down to where we accommodating. I wish there was a middle ground.
There is, it's called Wednesday. Make it fun. You can always do that.
Literally the.
so let me ask, how many students are there here?
200.
ooh, that would be great. 194.
So there's 194, 48 families responded.
Roughly a quarter.
But you could have like multiple kids in one family.
Yeah.
That's true too. So 35-40%.
We have multiple votes that they.
Yes, it's,
You don't really know. Percentage-wise.
Yeah.
Way better than voting turnout, let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, but then like in my family, all three of us got the survey because we're all signed up on Class Dojo. We got one kid.
Right.
So did all three of you take the survey?
None of us did because
Was that your
grandma
point,
works
though?
at home.
Was
so
that
it
your
doesn't-
point though?
Melissa did.
Well-
She did. Can you see her results?
Yes. I'm not gonna tell you what she put.
But I guess where I was going with it was a significant number of families kind of voted like mine did, which was whatever you do is fine with us.
Sure.
So we're talking about a high percentage of who voted, but a small percentage of the school.
Yeah.
Unclear, I don't have the number. I wouldn't be comfortable saying 50% or 60%, because some families have a lot of kids and some have a few.
Yeah, we have a family that's.
There's more than one.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, so it's,
some.
Yeah, but you also have the problem
Teachers
where
and the.
some families got multiple ones and they could have all responded.
so I wouldn't be comfortable saying that. So,
0 that don't have kids here. Does that make sense?
I mean, I guess the one thing I'm thinking of is so. Teachers want PIR days on Mondays because they might want to take. One of those Fridays off. But they have 3 to 4 other Fridays in the month that they could take off. Am I understanding that right? I just wanna talk through this out loud.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reasoning. Is that they might wanna take a Friday off and they can't take
yeah, like that.
I think
the yellow Friday.
it's all staff too.
Well, right,
Yeah.
but I guess I'm asking, is that why 5E was created? Because they might want to take a Friday off, and if the PIR is on a Friday, then that specific Friday, they wouldn't be allowed to take off.
Mhm.
Is that?
And then for like me with my son in wrestling, and he's gonna do it next year, so I look at it, if I wanted to leave to go to a wrestling tournament, I wouldn't be able to take that off. So that's just like my own selfish reason as a parent. And it just gives me the option to
What time,
also, huh?
what time are you guys here to tell on PIR days?
It's regular contractual day. So it's like 3:25.
But like certified staff, we have to be. And then classified. So that was one of my big reasons.
P6 for a PIR day, it's a personal day or sick day.
It's a, well, it just depends on why you're not here.
Yeah, it's not like a write-up in your.
No, but it does make it really difficult to have meaning. I mean, the idea of having more time with staff and having the full days is that we can bring in a presenter. We can have, instead of SST meetings before school, we can have hour blocks once a month to meet as a team and really deep dive into data. That's really difficult when 1/3 of a grade band is not here.
So we have October.
So in their CB, it does say that admin can approve it. Then it's, I mean, I'm either going to say, no, you can't go to your son's wedding, or when would I ever say that?
This discussion point that doesn't really mean.
They need to feel important. They need to not feel impossible to take off. But the other point of having May 22nd as a full PIR day on this calendar is that staff are going to create our days for next year so we can decide what we want to learn about. And they're going to become more meaningful to staff the further down the road we get. So it's going to be harder for someone on a teaching team to not be present.
People are comfortable moving forward with the decision, we need more time.
I don't know.
So we sent out that survey because we wanted to get the community's opinion on what they wanted. And we got an answer back and they wanted Fridays off. Right? I don't,
Is it, sorry,
no, go ahead.
I didn't mean it. Is it a unanimous, every staff member wants Mondays?
All but two.
All but two. So a larger percentage of teachers voted than the community voted.
Yeah, that's what,
That's pretty common, actually.
I know, it's a smaller group, but yeah.
What, Annalie?
I was just saying, to be fair, like the teachers, like it's all right here, like it, I don't know. I love Dojo, but there's so much information on Dojo, it gets lost. So all the teachers voted more of a percentage, because it's all right here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have an answer, I don't know which is right, but to say they were more invested than the school or than the parents isn't really fair.
I agree. We got a survey at my kiddo's school and a reminder to fill it out, and I missed the first one.
Yeah.
And my husband doesn't fill it out because he knows I do. So, I don't, yeah, I agree.
Maybe we don't know this, but of the schools in the valley that are on a 4-day week, do we know what day of the week they're taking?
It's either one. Smith Valley does
So
Mondays.
some do Monday, some do
The
Fridays.
schools that are 4-day school weeks take Friday.
What do most schools take for PIR days? Mondays or Fridays?
I don't know the answer to that. I think some just take whatever days. We're trying to all get, well, I think the best idea is kind of that consistency. So we can't just pick like every other is a Monday and a Friday to make a happy medium. It's kind of like Annalise said, I would rather have it be consistently a not awesome day for my family than guess and hope I picked the right one. But I think it's a mixed bag. Summer Wednesdays to match our high school district, summer Fridays, because it's nice. I mean, families tend to take Friday afternoon off if they're going somewhere. Some take Mondays for the same reason we're talking about today.
We've talked in clerks meetings about this, and I can tell you what some of the other districts have heard and experienced with their community. A lot of your parents work 4/10s. It's usually a Monday through Thursday. That's never Tuesday through Friday. They have to listen. I can tell you one school kicked off their community because they didn't go with what the community wanted. That community is the ones that vote on your levies. That community is the one that writes your paychecks. So that's something to keep in mind. Other communities could have cared less. They wanted early out every Friday or something like that, but there's different factors to keep in mind. And that's just our clerk discussions that we've had.
the one thing I'll say about surveys, I've been running employee engagement surveys for 3 decades. The one thing we would hear would be, why are you asking me if you're not going to do anything with my answer?
Right.
100%. You asked me and nothing changed. You asked me and you did the opposite.
I mean, these surveys have sort of
Yeah.
pitted you against yourself, really, but I don't think you're going to get a different answer if you send the survey out to the families again with these 2 options.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stress anyone, but this is one item that we could jill. Is
Right,
there
yeah.
anybody moving forward, or do you need alternate?
Depending on-
Do we need the answer?
So the worst case scenario is that this gets sent, I will die on the hill that this gets put in the envelope with final report cards on June 9th. However negotiations turn out, we'll have to revisit it and put events down the right side anyways next month, hopefully. Just so you have a heads up.
I'm comfortable tabling.
Yeah, I've just never seen the board struggle this month over calendar, so to me,
Yeah.
Well,
I think we either need time or we need information, and I don't want you to feel pressured, so. I think at this time I'll call for tabling the 26-27 Kyle school calendar.
I'll make a motion to table.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, guys, we got a rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Yeah,
This one.
we do not have any out of district agreements at this time. So if I could get a motion to strike.
I make a motion to strike out of district agreements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're moving on to summer school 2026.
I would like the board to consider having our summer school programs again. This would be a very similar model to last year and the year before. It would be at $150 instead of $125. And that would be, a recommendation to match the pay rate for the staff member that is running it to match the hourly rate of the base, like the STARS Act bottomed out pay. So $150 would do that. It would be week-long sessions that come close to working hours, but are not quite there. So
Do you have the attendance numbers for last year's?
I know we broke even.
I seem to remember that we broke even.
Didn't we break even because the KTA or the
PTA.
PTA contributed money? Yeah.
I
So
think it did take that.
I think last year what we did was we said as long as we had enrollment up to a certain amount, and then if we failed enrollment, we would ring bells of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say a full week, are you talking 5 days
Mhm.
and
8 to 4.
8 to 4?
Do we have a deadline for, like, when we're gonna know how many kids are enrolled, like, say yes to this?
We
We did last year.
We did last year.
We need to say yes to it as soon as possible
Yeah.
because the big thing is with Kalispell Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Their signups open, I think it's first week in April, and they are full within like 2 weeks, and you have to pay the whole thing in full.
Kind of,
So if we don't get ours out there.
Yeah.
Then typically our numbers are pretty affected. And then we just make a thing that if we don't get X amount of students by X amount of date, then we'll end up canceling.
Yeah.
Which also puts parents in fine.
sure.
That's in Parks and Rec.
But if you approve today, like we could make that deadline April 3rd, and then
Yeah.
families would still be notified and have enough time to sign up for Parks and Rec.
That seems reasonable. Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Let's do it.
Do we have,
absolutely.
do we have an estimate of the dates that this would be offered?
It's usually, it's 2 separate weeks and there is a break. But I don't have the proposed dates right now.
Yeah, I think we did a week in June and a week in July,
Mhm.
There was quite a bit of discussion about that last week, I think. Just which weeks to do.
making sure it wasn't around the 4th of July.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this.
I'm all for it.
So we need a motion to approve the summer school program with, a sign-up deadline by April 3rd.
Yep.
And the caveat that it has to break.
The caveat. that
Enrollment
is-
numbers would have to make it break.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this summer school program. Yeah, with those caveats that we meet the number of kids that we need, the enrollment, and then also that we have the deadline for April 3rd.
I will second that.
In favor?
Aye.
And that's also with the 150 a week for 2 weeks and the STARS base wage, correct?
Yes.
We have updated job descriptions. Those were sent out in a separate email. I went through an MTSBA HR training and asked if job descriptions were that important, and I was told yes emphatically.
I remember we talked about that at one point, yeah.
Yeah,
This is
very.
So this is important.
And these are all of your classified employees, so certified. Well, it's not done yet.
And they're pretty much pulled from MTSBA, aren't they? Adjusted a little bit for our school.
So they're the standardized MTSBA job descriptions, then they're run through the staff members currently in those roles, and then they are cleaned up using our favorite Gemini staff member, and suggestions are noted, but.
Is that, is a superintendent role? Is that? And then there's one that's just principal. Okay. It looks like we need to add Title IX coordinator to the just principal job description at our school. Any other comments on that?
No.
No,
So we do need, on the one that's just for the principal, we do need Title IX coordinator added to that. Motion, so much as that.
I will make a motion to approve the job descriptions with adding just a principal job description as a Title IX coordinator.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to our SB 307 resolution, your levies.
So every March, we need to notify taxpayers of anticipated tax and mill increase, decrease. And you have to notify them if there's any, not the total budget, but if there's just an increase or decrease. So the first paper that's in your packet is what actually goes to the newspaper. And then the second one is actually the breakdown of the mills, or it's just a different format that's easier to understand and read. So there is, the tuition is always going to be up and down because of that is our out of district kiddos. So it's a in and out. Building reserve is that building fund that helps fund our safety counselor. And then also building projects that can be saved up throughout the year, so. And these are estimates, but you have to put something down in order to levy them.
Any comments or questions on it?
Oh, looks like the wall's going up a little bit, but
Yeah, we do have years where things go up, we definitely have years where things go down.
I have one quick question. You said the building reserve fund was to fund, what'd you say?
Our safety counselor, our counselor who also teaches student safety.
Was that not accounted? Does anything else come out of there? That's a $46,000 increase.
So how the budget works is that we get what's called SMMA funds as well. And so they'll say you got 60,000 this year. So you can levy $60,000 to go into that without having to go to your taxpayers for that. It's automatic. And so, yeah, we go for the full amount to put in there because it also goes for building projects. So.
So that, I guess that's what I was asking. It's
Well,
not just
well,
for
what
that
happened,
salary.
what happened was that they used to only be 15,000, 30,000, and then last session, they moved it up to 60,000, and then this session, it's 60,000 as well, too. So it increased, the state increased it, so.
That could be like a controlled entrance on the office building for safety purposes as well.
That's what I wanted to clarify.
Not
It wasn't
just for that
just
one.
the- Wasn't just the teachers.
Oh, no, not at all.
That's,
No, 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 yeah, this is for any,
I can see-
anything,
Yeah,
anything, I'm sorry,
I can
anything
see what you
building.
thought that, but I can also, I understand what you said.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
No more questions? Okay. If I can have a motion to accept the SB 307 resolution?
I'll move to accept the SB 307 resolution.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And we are moving on to the 20. I need to sneeze, I can feel it. The 26-27 certified teaching staff renewal, non-renewal, tenured.
Pretty exciting day for some. So on my recommendation list, anyone who has an asterisk, so Dana, Josh, and Christian would be receiving tenure, which is always awesome. And are on the recommendation list, Autumn, Carrie, Lydia, Christine, Mary, Brandy, Matt, Amy, Tara, Shauna, and Tika are also recommended for contractual renewal for the 26-27 school year.
And that is everyone.
Yeah.
What's the motion that one?
I'll make a motion to approve all administrative recommendations for contract renewals for 2026 and 2027 certified staff.
All second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's a mouthful.
Did you FaceTime Dana?
Well,
We do.
we do. See? Johnson. Don't forget it. Oh, I'm the terrible friend. Yeah. She's distracted, right?
She didn't hear you say.
Okay. I'll trust you on. The 26-27 certified teaching staff renewal, non-renewal, non-tenured staff are as equally as important.
What did you just say?
Any non-tenured staff you'd like to renew or non-renew?
Did we do them all?
No,
For certi-
it should say classified.
It should say classified.
No, we need to do the tenured versus the non-tenured, because we didn't want to put the classified on there this month.
Okay, so let's all back up because I had read this incorrectly. Can we have a do-over?
Yeah, because we have a non-tenured staff member, right?
Yes.
Two. I need to be better. This needs to be. I'll share.
Non-tenured staff.
So
Sure.
we have to full back up. So
So we're gonna go back to our previous action item
and amend.
and amend we're gonna go back to our renewal or non-renewal of our tenure.
Untext Dana for a second.
Wait, she already said a celebration of them.
Okay, tenured staff recommended renewals.
There we go.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Autumn, Carrie, Lydia, Christine, Mary, Brandy, Tara, Shauna, Tika.
I'm gonna motion to accept. We'll keep it. You move through.
I will make a motion to accept the tenured certified staff for contract renewals for 2026 and 2027.
I will second once again.
All in favor this time?
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we're going to go into our non-tenured certified staff for next.
Okay. I would love to recommend Dana, Josh, Christian, Amy, and Matt as our non-tenured staff for contractual renewal. Dana, Josh, and Christian would be offered tenure if you choose to offer them a fourth contract.
I would like to make a to accept your administrative recommendations for non-tenure certified contract renewals for 2026 and 2027.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we.
There we go. Now it's officially the fifth.
Now we're gonna read it. Alright, we have 25-26 long-term sub for our after-school program.
We had 3 applicants and have chosen to offer to Ms. Meekum for a long-term sub position for the remainder of this school year.
Great. So I was present, the interviews for that. And I really liked what she said about especially the little kids. She doesn't have much interaction with them, except for if she were to do something like the after school program. So she'll meet a lot of these girls and get to know them a little bit and interact with them a little bit because she doesn't see too much of that before they come to her class. So yeah, so that kind of a continuity type of thing a little bit seems pretty positive for me. And I also like just some of her ideas about things to do in the class and what to bring in. So that was my impression.
So this is an additional contract.
Is this the old contract under, like I know it's a new contract, but it's because we haven't officially changed the pay matrix.
Correct.
So this is.
At what point do we talk about the program, if it's paying for itself, if it's costing us?
Probably next month.
Okay. I've been curious about it all school year. I have.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've talked about that.
Motion to hire Christine Meekum for a long-term sub for our after-school programs.
I will make a motion to hire Steve Meekum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to our janitor custodian hire, Alvin Rose. Does he go by Alvin?
He goes by Jim. His email is JDog, Jim Dog. So we're dabbling in JDog, but so Alvin's background check had come in already. He had signed up as a substitute custodian, so we were able to put him in, and he has been a great fit, very hardworking, and was the unanimous recommendation out of the committee. So his hire is pending board approval and cleared background check.
I will make a motion to approve the hiring of Alvin Jim for the custodial position.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We do not have the MSSA agreement, so we will table at this time. So I'd ask for a motion to table the 26-27 MSSA agreement.
Make a motion to table the MSSA 26-27 agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
You can make that motion.
I have a rhythm and you're just, just so, we got 2 more. We're gonna do it. 26-27 glass 5 pay matrix. And that is in your board pack.
So recommendation for after-school program workers to merge in and be in the same lane as paraprofessionals. So the job responsibilities, which part of the reason of doing the job descriptions ahead of that is that we would have actual things to provide people. But when you look at them and do an evaluation, they are very similar and need to be in the same column. The other bit of all of that is that our classified pay matrix is well below the standard of living for pay for the valley. So the recommendation is to add $2 to the remaining 2 columns at the base pay, and that trickles down sort of like the class or the certified matrix, and pay our staff appropriately.
Our current pay matrix, the way it has, is probably 25 years old.
Yeah.
Because I helped create it at the time, so it's old and it needed updating.
Any comments or questions on the potential updated pay matrix?
Is there a reason that we give them a 5 max start and our certified classified is
It,
7?
I can give you my opinion. It'd be wonderful to do 7, to have a match the teachers. So this, if you want to do it, now's the time to do it.
Well, it's not on as part of this presentation. I don't know once certified negotiations are, it would be a bummer to move that right now and then have to move it again to match if that changes when you finish with certified. So I would hope that we could revisit the max line once we are done with all of the negotiation pieces. But alignment does make it easy in the office. And if someone's been a para or a janitor for 7 years, we need to pay them appropriately.
Yeah.
Poor cook.
And when was the last time this was increased? Did you say 25 years ago? Is that?
Well, the matrix was
The
created
structure.
25 years
Okay,
ago.
okay.
Every year they'll put a percentage on the
Yeah.
base,
Yeah.
but it's just not keeping up.
Budget wise, how are we with this?
We can swing that, right?
Yep, the preliminary budget committee met and the budget had it in there. And so, yeah.
Then I think we need to pay people what they earn. And like this.
Mhm.
You like this?
Yeah.
Good. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the new or the proposed pay matrix for classified personnel.
Can we make a note to revisit the max start next month?
Yep.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just a point of clarification. So historically, what has happened and why this has gotten so far behind is that we have offered a percentage increase that matches or is like an attaboy, like here as well to match, but a percentage on an already low hourly rate of pay
Yeah.
is a much lower increase then. So that's why the dollar amount came out for this year.
And it also got behind too, because like say your teachers negotiated 10%, classified would only get half of that. They get 5%. And it was like that for years up until just the past few years. So.
Okay, we're gonna move on to first grade, second grade funds. That's for 2026-27.
So here's some historical data. COVID's in there somewhere, so you can take this for what you want. And then it gets a little wild in the last chart that I would like to show you. So just buckle up. Essentially, one of the ideas of even bringing this forward is this average classroom size. So over the last 10 years, this is the average size of our classrooms. They're all pretty much 20. That is the max of our lowest grades. So the thought process is if we increase a first and second grade opportunity for enrollment, we would consistently have higher enrollment numbers that are allowable. So at third grade, just a reminder, we bump up to 28. That's in third and fourth. And then we move up to 30. So not an ideal class size, but you can see that A and B historically on average that we are missing out on. So having the opportunity to separate classes out in first and second grade, have smaller class sizes, all of those are in discussion. Here's our projected enrollment over 10 years. So the newest is on the left. It kind of reads backwards. Trending wise, we are trending upwards. You can see this year we are above the projected enrollment increase, hence a little bit of an increase in our budget. But essentially, that's the trend. That is not the trend in public education right now. This is the wild one, so just hold on. Specifically yesterday in our budget committee meeting, we were talking about K-1-2 only. So kinder first, second enrollments. Just look at the trend lines. First grade is trending upwards, second grade would be trending quite flat, and kindergarten is trending down. I'm just giving you the raw data. This 1 year where we reported 30 kids in our first grade class is a weird asterisk. And then it's not reflected in many of the next years. So that's something I think we need to dive into. So I think that skews our data quite a lot when you're looking at this chart. Just this morning, we actually started talking about the trends nationwide and specifically in the state of Montana. This is something we also need to consider when we are talking about this. So these are birth rate trends for the state of Montana. And it's the last report that they came out with was in 2024. So this is why trending wise, there's less kids in public education. Even homeschool is down. So I just want to publicly share it's not all of these public school kids are going to homeschool, like
Private schools down as well.
all three. Yeah. And this is what people are saying is the reason why. So I think that is information that the board needs to have also while looking at this information.
Babies born in Montana, not, I brought my 5 kids with me from California, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any data on, because I don't know, something about Flathead County is the fastest growing city.
We're the fastest growing city, and there's Kalispell Public Schools and all of the surrounding schools except for Kyla decrease in enrollment this year. So all of those sky rises that are being put in, there's a long range facility planning meeting in Kalispell, and that was 2 years ago. They had projected some pretty massive growth, and it's not happening.
Our numbers up by at least 10 from just last year.
Kyla.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know. Well, what we reported, we are from 182 to 196. We have 48 of our kids that have left. Nope, we have 48 out of district kids in our enrollment right now. We have 72 Kyla district kids that have gone elsewhere. I tried to get from the county superintendent what grades they are going away to go be in, because it could be K-8 with their statistical report. They don't have that data. So there's hopefully going to be some conversation between clerks and those FP14s to try and collect some more specific data that could be more helpful. But that's all I have right now.
Do you know how many kids last year K through 2 that we turned away?
we ended up turning away 4 for this school year. Mhm.
But it's also one of those word that's out.
Oh, I know.
Don't even try it because you're not gonna be able to get in them.
Mhm. And well, and we know, we are confident that, we have families who have kids here who we had to unfortunately turn away their K-1, 2 students, so we know most likely those kids would come back as well.
We have one family that's in that boat. We have one family that chose to pull their other kids and go to a different district, so that one might not be likely. But this is a gamble. So as we've talked about, it could increase if it was full of brand new enrolled Kyla kids. It would be about $127,000 added to our general fund. If we do not have 8 new A and B for next school year, it will be a loss to the district. I just want to be really clear that I do not have an agenda when it comes to this. I think it's something that we needed to talk about. We did not have a middle school teacher that I'm recommending that we replace. That was my recommendation to put in place. I don't know how many years ago now. An additional middle school FTE does not increase our A and B. We do not get more kids here by putting another teacher in the middle school. You do get additional A and B here potentially by making a 1-2 combo class.
If we were to get 8 or more, would that, I know 8 breaks the season. So then if we get anything over that, then it gives us the possibility of adding an additional para support. I know we talked about if numbers trickle down into middle school, we get, the correct word is better reimbursement for 7 and 8 students. So long-term, we were talking about, we need to consider if our middle school numbers continue to decline, and that's our highest paid reimbursement, we're looking at our budget eventually decrease. As to where this year we got a decent increase. We're trying to be, I guess the way I'm thinking about it is we're trying to be proactive to grow the rest of the grades where technically we really have room. Not that we want to max out at 30, but a 24 class average on those higher grades wouldn't be.
So you only get more money. It's about $2,200 per kid for your 7/8. But this is where the original thinking was when this was brought up for the very first part. There's a reason, on average, our classes are the same. And so we bottleneck our 3rd grade numbers by keeping our K-1-2 numbers at 20 and not having an opportunity for more.
And that just makes sense because once families are kind of into the swing of something, they don't necessarily switch on a whim, right? They don't want to send kids, pull them out of one school where they have friends and connections with other teachers, and in 3rd or 4th grade, just pop with the school where they don't know anybody. So that does make sense. I'm just wondering if we would run into a problem in the future. Let's say we have that combined class. Once we get to 3rd grade, what if we're over it? Right? So we potentially, like, if this goes really well, if we did this and it went really well, what if we all of a sudden are at 31? And we have to tell 3 out of districts they can no longer send their kid here. And how do we work through that at that point? Because that then becomes an issue too, if we do this and it is successful. And my last initial thought on it is, it's more of a question, is do we have a plan to almost advertise this? Like we have open space, in in these grades, if you want to get your kid into our school, now's the time, you know.
Well, and I think that that would be a consideration when we're accepting out of districts for those lower grades. What's this gonna look like when we hit third?
Because we're changing the bottle, we're increasing the size of the bottleneck, right? And then we're just changing it to a different grade then, is how I see it, I guess.
Well, technically not, because at second to third, your numbers jump from.
Right,
So you're
everything
bumping back
increases a little bit,
explorers,
yeah, and I see there being a sweet spot with it, right? And what we don't know, the unknown that we won't know until we're into this a few years is, what does this look like when this first class of kids that theoretically come in next year hit third grade?
Right.
Like, what does that look like? So,
I mean, you have you have a second grade teacher, you have a third grade teacher here. We haven't had a lot of time to talk about it as a staff. You could open for discussion.
I do want to back it way up and say, if you come in for kindergarten and I'm sticking at our 18 and I tell you to go away, why would you go back for first? Because it's a 1-2 combo level. So I wasn't sure, like, as soon as
Bottlenecks in kinder.
we actually turned me away in kinder, so then are we,
Well, we talked about it being kinder 1 or 1-2.
Would just depend on where our numbers are at. And then it could transfer to a 1-2 if our kinder class was pretty big.
so we could definitely open it up to comments at this time.
Yay or nay?
I guess my biggest concern is that I just heard about it this morning of me possibly moving over to the middle school wing instead of going over to fourth grade. And my red flags went up. I can't imagine a little third grader hanging out in this hallway, being part of this scene. So I got worried. I mean, I am okay with doing what needs to be done and moving to whatever classroom, but it's just a bit unfair that I'm the one who only has to move to this room and everybody else gets to kind of just stay. And I don't like the fact of hearing that my third graders will stay. It worries me.
I see all the same pros and cons you guys do.
Yeah.
As a second grade teacher, I love to have another 1-2 over there to help us out. Would be great. But I also do worry what happens when you are taking those 2 groups of second graders and putting them into third grade. I like the idea of maybe the teacher going K1 to 1-2, but I tell you, as a teacher, I would not like to have to redo every year which grade I'm doing. So I see all the same pros and cons you guys do, so I'm really fun.
yeah, okay.
And to me, it does make more sense to do it paid first, but again, I'm concerned for the area I would be placed in class. And I guess that was something, I don't know if that's a final, but that's what we heard at our little staff meeting this morning, that we were talking about this possible combo class. And then I was under the impression I was just moving down to fourth grade and fourth was moving that room. But then that person said, no, they're not moving into that room. And so then I was like, well, I'm not either. So, but I don't know.
There was not a staff meeting where this was discussed at, just so you were,
It was a group of teachers. We were doing negotiations.
without the administrator present to kind of help fill in the gaps of that. We did talk about it as our 3-5 grade band team meeting yesterday. But like I said previously, we have not had time with our very limited PD, PIR early outs to even, I mean, I floated budgetary expansion for this for our general fund, and staff were welcome to come and chat with me if they had questions. So that's, I mean, it's sort of like the community. This is literally the only data that I have to share with you. It is a gamble.
What does it look like if we're 3 or 4 years into this and the gamble hasn't paid off? What do we do at that point?
You would tax it.
I think we would have to do 3 years,
Yeah,
or,
we won't have meaningful data for 2 years, I don't think.
well, and I think 3 years would have to be our decision before 10.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point with it.
So- I do feel like that discussion for classroom would need to be had. I would have, as a parent, be very hard hand, knowing that my third grader is in a hall with middle schoolers, only having 2 middle schoolers here. I know the drama, the words, the language that comes through it. It's a big maturity
shock.
gap. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
kind of like
do think we
introducing
would
them
need to.
to being an older kid. No, we don't want to do that necessarily.
I do think that that would need to be discussed. As far as the combo class, there's always gonna be what ifs. You won't know until you try. I think that we've been trying to increase our numbers. We've been trying to look for other options. For me, this year in our budget meetings, we have this budgeted as if we were to move forward to see what things would look like. And so I think if we're gonna do it, I think now is the time to try it because we're trending up. There's a reason why people want their kids in smaller community schools. There's a reason why Kyla, West Valley, Helena Flats, K through 8 grades, our schools are highly sought after.
And so when you're saying that, I'm thinking about, we had that parent who was out of district, whose older child was here and had to say no. That was a very hard decision to say no to that parent school year. I think that would minimize it.
Well, same with the out of district that was here last year, moved away and we had to say no.
Yep, and that was the second situation that we run into this year. And that all affects what it's gonna look like from 3rd through 8th grade. Right, and that eventually affects the budget. So,
And realistically, if we had 8 and we broke even, or we just, I don't wanna sound like I don't care about the budget, of course we do.
yeah,
But the other side to that is that we decrease either pay first or second slightly. I was saying like Rhett's kindergarten class is 13 students. They have 2 kindergarten classes that are like 13 and 12 or something. It's a wonderful class size for young kids like that.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of other benefits, even if we're not necessarily over our numbers. I think there's other benefits to it too.
Yeah.
That's my own personal.
Just to be
opinion.
really super clarifying point moment. If the 1-2 class does move forward, either 3, 4, or 5 would be in what is currently the 6th grade room. They would not be moving to the current after school program room. But that is where you have your art and music room and kids walk through there every day. So, one of your classes would essentially be in what is currently the 6th grade room from your 3, 4, 5 classes. So they would not be all the way down here, but they would be in that hallway. There's just not another space unless the community wanted to pass a bond.
Conceptually, I think this makes a lot of sense for the school. I think we need to figure out how it's gonna look, where people are in the physical space. I think we need to figure out how that looks, and there's time to do that, right? But conceptually, I think this is a very logical step forward if we're trying to increase enrollment in the school and provide that, for members of this community or other people from other communities that wanna send their kids here for whatever reason it is, so. I think it makes sense. And we just need to kind of flesh out how it looks. Who's in what physical space?
Would you put out advertisement for kinder 1? Or are you thinking 1, 2?
For the
Probably,
teacher?
yeah. Well, and for students to enroll.
I think we would just put out a combo class and see where the numbers landed.
Kyle, is that at a combo class and we have room in our lower grades?
And honestly, I mean, even year one, if it doesn't break even in year one, I'm not super concerned about that.
Exactly, yeah.
And even year two, like, as long as the numbers kind of trend right, I'm not talking a lot of numbers here. If the numbers trend right for year two, it's like, okay, like, we're kind of starting to roll here a little bit. And then by year three, we actually assess it and see how it's doing. We could be at 10. We could also be at 5 or 6, but I don't think we'd be at 1. I don't see that happening. It could, but I don't.
Yeah. 10.
Yeah,
Sure.
because we do turn a couple away that under this we wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Which then going forward, years 3 through 8, call it 3 through 9, all of a sudden our class sizes in the higher grade bands are 24, 25, right? Which for every year, that's just kind of better.
So technically, even if you're taking a loss on the combo class,
For years
in the
one,
long term, you're making up for it on the other end.
correct. Yeah, so there's a potential for a short-term loss. I don't see as much downside to taking that loss temporarily in order to increase things and serve the greater community.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, it could turn out to be a loss every year
Yep.
for that piece,
Yep.
but it's a benefit over on this side
Yep.
that offsets the loss.
More than offsets the loss. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I guess, if that's how we're thinking about it, I see a very open path forward where that will make sense going down the line.
When we get to year 3, we'll just have to do a very thorough evaluation.
Yeah. And we can ask the administrator to track it, just
Right.
maybe give us a report every year and kind of see how it's going. Type thing, which I'm sure she'd do anyways.
Well, one of the easy things to track is which kids would we have turned away? Are they still here?
No.
At our budget committee meeting last night, some new points did get brought up about, can our current facility hold an increase? Currently we have 2 very, very small classes, so while you're increasing in K1, 2, we could still have to take all of those additional students somewhere. So that's something that we would need to consider. And our specials teachers would then be maxed out. So
I won't name names for this time, brought up the fact that like we have a small school with like not a lot of bathrooms. And if we keep maxing out our student count, we're just gonna keep putting a lot more stress on our subject, so. Sometimes we are completely bound by our aging building. It's definitely something to consider. I thought it was a really good point to throw out.
and that we are a small school, and how far do we want to push the enrollment? Like, where is the line? Where do you want to toe it? Are we good with where we're at?
One of the other things that came up in our budget meeting last night was the thought of whether it's K1 or 1, 2, the kids who are being held back aren't necessarily like labeled with that stigma of being held back, because they're held back in kinder. Maybe they go to the kinder 1 class instead of just repeating kindergarten. Or if they're held back at first and it's a 1, 2 class, they go 1, 2 class instead of moving on to second. I thought, yeah, for our mental, I had kids here that went K3 and it's always a weird dynamic when one of their friends get held back.
Not in the same class with them.
Yeah, and that's kind of always that.
There's a budget consideration too, a new staff member teaching, new setup for classroom, new additional supplies, additional curriculum. So there's a cost there as well too.
That would be kind of just taken in year one, for the most part, right? Did this, a lot of that cost to set up the classroom and all of that. That would be an initial cost, and it's part of the investment, so it's, that we're putting into this program. So,
I mean, you are able to table it. We can have a very open, honest conversation at our next staff meeting and hash all of these things out, come with an actual plan of where people would be moving to, actual costs for a new classroom and the curriculum additional purchase. Our next staff meeting is Friday because we have school. I don't know why I almost looked. It's Friday. Yes. That one would be difficult, because we are separated out, but there's one on April 3rd. Where we can have very intentional conversation as a staff. Just from what I've heard today, this is gonna be dividing, and I would prefer that you tabled it right now. So we can hash it out, have everybody that wants to have a voice be present. This was posted last Thursday. It's been brought up. It's not been explicitly brought up. But I don't feel that I have been given the opportunity to hear. People have not taken me up on the opportunity to express frustrations about this, and it would be a divisive decision for you right now. So I would like to revisit this at our April meeting.
I don't see a reason we need to make a decision on this right now.
Unless we were trying to find it out for spring break advertised.
Yeah,
Was our only thought, but
okay.
I wouldn't have to.
Because that's your big push, that if we don't get it out before spring break, we don't get the good candidates.
I know that's my hill I die on left and right, but I would rather not have a divided staff from what I've heard or has been talked about this morning. I don't know all of those things yet, and I'm not feeling very great about any of this right now. And I would hate for that to come back on the board as making this decision and forcing us to do that and forcing kids down the middle school hall and all the things. So
I will make a motion to table
I'll
this
second.
for the April 4th meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I will put out notification to our families, and hopefully people that may not be enrolled can say they would enroll and in what grade ahead of time. Doesn't mean they need to fill out an FP 14, but I can have data for all that as well.
I think a little more data.
I don't have much more to give right now,
Yeah.
but
No,
I will
yeah.
find it.
You do what you can.
Do we have any gym roofing bids?
We do. The great news of the not great news. So the gym roof started leaking down just one of the side walls. We ended up having 2 people up there, and only one strip is failing. So that one strip is going to be replaced. I've already signed for them to come in. They're going to do it over spring break, and that was about $1,700 just to fix that one strip. We are still working on, we thought we were gonna have to replace the whole roof after that guy sent the pictures of the roof. It needs some love and attention and is on our long range facility plan now. But we have options now. So since the rest of the roof's not failing, we can actually just do some pretty intensive fixes, which I'll share in a little bit. So we thought that was gonna be bids for full gym roof replacement, which we don't have to do right now, which is, let's all just celebrate that.
And are we revisiting it next meeting, or we're limping through for a little bit?
It's gonna be part of the long range facility plan now, since it's not urgent, the roof is failing. And we need to figure out where we want to prioritize all that.
So motion to strike that. The agenda,
Strike or two.
it's not coming back.
I will make a motion to strike.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're moving on to the business manager evaluation. Look, again, it's probably easiest if we just close for a moment, just so everybody can take a look and. I'm gonna, close the meetings while we look at the business manager evaluation.
It's already on the,
Yes.
oh, I think I should.
I clicked.
There's the 27 contract. This, would be, we would just be approving a contract of intent to renew for next year. We do have a meeting for, Christina and I do have a time set up with Sharon to talk about, to negotiate budget. We just have not, we just weren't able to do that by this meeting, but it will absolutely be done by the next meeting.
I will make a motion to the 2026 and the 27 Disney.
All bigger. Any opposed?
No.
I should join you.
So, yeah,
No, sorry. We have to go into another short close session. I have to explain it in longer to.
Can you be my spirit?
You have to leave, oh.
So. Yeah, next item, action item on the agenda is the middle non-renewal of the principals 26, 27, and
I will make a motion to bring in the 26, 27 principal.
Sorry.
all in favor? Any opposed? All right. Now for information items, first information item is our YBGR update. This is required by contract. We do have an email.
If you want to read the email, I'm good with that. And then if you have any questions, I can answer those. What are up to you?
Okay, so the email is in your packet. And the email is some.
I can add one small piece if you want. We did get 3 referrals. We will be enrolling one of those. So we will have 18 kids and 17 parents.
And you have a max on it?
That gets tricky. Yes, 14 HSS kiddos, and then not for the CSCT, except for the cap that we put on there that I do not remember, to be honest. And then the CDPRS, no. It's just, we would staff that obviously with the admin and the counselor like we talked about it. The last board meeting.
But not numbers wise, you're pretty maxed out, right?
I think we would be 2 kids for HSS right now. Is that right?
What did you want to say anything about that?
We just appreciate Nancy and it's gonna be the start of a new era. So these 2 ladies put a lot of love and time into our program and yeah, just want to recognize Nancy for the 15 years she spent with our kids and
Okay, we have our 2026 PSBA annual membership survey, emailed that up to you. Just wasn't sure if the board wanted me to put that as a board chair. Or you want to put that as a board.
I have no concern with you.
I don't either, yeah.
Motion to do that as the board chair, and then we'll get to sign off on your deadline. Fast one. No follow-up discussions from the previous meeting. The think tank Thursday training, there's only been one. And Lance spoke on, he made a presentation before the school funding interim commission. And he's, I think, pretty frustrated on how limited the comment, right? So when he got up there, I think he does and just talks and talks. So he wanted to emphasize to all the participants that general fund budget for enrolled student hasn't kept up with inflation. He made a chart using consumer price index and the employment cost index, and they both show that it just does not keep up with inflation. You can do what you will. He also did a chart for Montana property taxes. So I'm not saying that specific for county, just Montana as a whole, that property taxes, if you go back as far as 2009 to present, have not kept up with inflation. They're short by 48 to 60 million, depending on which index you use. We tend to suffer from the thought that our taxes in Montana are astronomical, so I think he just likes to continue to make the point that maybe higher than they kept up with inflation. And there's the STARS worksheet. I'm sure Sharon has seen it. It was, little bits of variable training, but I think Sharon has us right in line with what our numbers need to be for teacher salaries so that we are qualifying for the STARS Act, which makes sure that our minimum teacher pay is higher. Yeah, that was all I covered on the training. So, what do you think?
So the committee had a meeting last night. We're on track. We tried to project some things with negotiations. Everything is preliminary right now. We haven't gotten some of our bill statements for next year, our liability insurance. So much kind of depends on negotiations right now. So that's kind of where we're at. Once we know what we're going to do with negotiations, we'll get together again for a budget meeting and just say, yeah, this is it, or.
I had a lot of stuff.
Oh, so next year you need to be on the budget committee.
No.
I'm just saying.
Come join me.
Trustee election update and what?
We do not have a trustee election. We have two people that will be appointed trustees for 3-year term, Nick Blanche and Earl Newman. So that Flathead County Superintendent's Office will be here at 3 o'clock before our main meeting to swear you guys in. So next month is Amanda's last meeting, just saying. So you might see some expenditures.
Monday, or Monday, May, is that when we do the board meeting?
Yes.
No, and just, so because Nick is your vice chair, he will start that meeting, so you have your perspective. Okay, we're gonna move on to our principal report. I would like a PowerPoint, please.
I actually did not make one.
Oh,
I kind of had to send out school closure info instead and be in wild wind meetings. So
It's currently.
sorry about that. My first update is events. So I will actually, since I don't have, I'm just gonna go rogue. Conrad loved that. So here I go. Events. Tomorrow, there is supposed to be quite the windstorm. So a 10% chance that there could be 75 to 80 mile per hour winds that shoot all the way down from Libby through basically following Highway 2 and hit Kyla. 100% chance that there will be a December-ish type windstorm. So I was on meetings all afternoon with Sheriff Hino and some weathery people, and then like all of the emergency responders, and then all the superintendents. And Sheriff Hino is very concerned, not necessarily about injuries or anything during the event, but that it's supposed to really be maxed out at like 6 a.m. So if there's trees that are down, they wouldn't really be able to start working on those until the electric company to be able to say that power lines were not hot, whatever that's called in electrical land. And then they wouldn't be able to even start plowing the roads until 7:30 if all the trees were gone. So worst case scenario would be a late start, but then the flip side of that, which happened in December, which we learned from and we're all talking about, a worst case scenario, especially for a district like Kyla, would be to get everybody here, have the power go out, and have a shelter in place. So parents would literally need to defy a county directive to come pick up their kids, or we would not be able to safely house them here. All of these things combined are where that recommendation came from. It's supposed to be a little bit better than the December because the ground is not as saturated as it was then for trees. You just don't know. So all those trees don't have the other trees that already fell down to keep them up, blah, blah, blah. But every school in the district is going to be closed tomorrow. Not district, I meant Valley. So that's the first event. That also then cancels the first event I was truly going to have on my PowerPoint for today, which was the MCTM math competition that we would have sent all of our kids to in middle school, about 20 of them tomorrow. That event is canceled. A few of them were very excited to go do a math competition, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Will that event be rescheduled?
I don't know. I would assume not with all the other things going on, but it is, and especially since there's also math counts, but it is its own entity. So I don't know. Second event then that I was going to talk about is our trimester 2 awards assembly that's supposed to go out or happen on Friday morning. That is no longer going to happen on Friday morning. We're going to postpone that. Not a week, but it will be sometime next week because parents were supposed to receive report cards tomorrow and notifications from the teachers that they could come to the assembly. But if they don't know that they need to be there to cheer on their kiddo, it's just kind of piddly and sad it's not as exciting. I'll go positive. Not as exciting to have the awards assembly, which is the whole point. So we will have to reschedule that. Let's see. On a positive note, we gambled on middle school ski days. That one is happening next Friday. That might now get to happen because of what is happening. Let's see. Tomorrow, for event-wise, we're wrapping up all of our training. So I split the staff in half. Half we're doing CPR training, half we're training on our EOP and with E3. So after tomorrow, nope, not tomorrow, working day tomorrow, but Friday afternoon, then all staff will be retrained on E3. So today I could have sent out an E3 notification that school would be closed tomorrow. Instead, I still had to send the email and walk down the hall to all the staff at 2:52 saying, did you check your email? Some staff were out in a field, so I didn't even get to make sure that they knew before. So it's just little things like that where it's like, it will be very nice to have the staff on the same page. Everybody then is trained on the EOP. Like last time we were training on the EOP was the bear. So it was just serendipitous that afternoon we're training on our soft lockdown, but no one's trained on it yet. So what do? Well, we're just gonna make up our own plan until everyone's trained on the plan. So people aren't looking at the old EOP or the new EOP, blah, blah, blah. So as of Friday afternoon, pending school is back on, that will be all done. That's pretty exciting. Before our next meeting, there is spring break. And then Big Creek is coming up for 5th grade that week after spring break. So that will all be exciting to report out. something that we've started, I think Josh has already done, but will be a really big deal, kind of amping our kids up down the hall, is have fifth grade go report on what they got to do. So kids leading kids and all of those things. And then something really important for you guys to note, because we are sending so many kids to the National History Day state competition, I would love for you guys to note the change of the fundraiser dinner for 8th grade. So that Friday that it was originally on the calendar is no longer. It is on May 1st. And then my last little nugget of things to note is that we do have our kindergarten registration event that's happening on April 17th. So our kindergartners are not going to have school, so all of our kinder staff can focus on the screening of the new kindergartners, rather than just get subs and all that. But that has gone out and we are filling up our schedule right now, which I'll have numbers on at our next board meeting that we can consider for other tabled action items. I think that is it for events that I need to. Do I have the what?
Let's do it. Sorry.
You're great.
Do better. I think.
Normally when I make a PowerPoint, I include all of the things I've thought about including. Didn't happen.
So if I remember right, it was 23 parents and 41 students with what's really, I don't have my paper with me, but it was a really nice.
41 and 30.
41 and
35. Yeah.
mine, I fell. There was a missing paper.
23.
23, okay. Yeah, 41 students, 23 parents, great turnout, kids loved it. One game I didn't know they would like so much, because they had a character, maybe guest character they worked in a book and I tasted.
Oh, that was so fun.
They actually loved that one and kids kept coming back and getting more and more and more. So, and the PTA, they donated stuff for us so we could, everyone left with a gift bag. Community members, mostly parents, brought in and used books and gave, so everyone got to leave with a book, some left with more than one. I had a lot of staff members there that all helped support and just came in and made sure everything was running great. It was really fun time.
I'm sorry you missed it.
That's great.
All my kids look so all the kids.
Thank you for everyone who helped out pitch in, and we just had a great time. I'm looking forward to next year. Got some good ideas and moving forward and
And I think we,
the run back night.
Sorry.
but doing it right after school and in the gym is something that we've been pretty excited about.
That's something I'll probably continue on. It's just work better all around. And it was nice to have the kids see the other kids being excited instead of you, like 2 kids in one room. And then they go to the next room, 2 kids in that room. And then they all get hear what's going on down the halls. They want, so it was nice. It was just all together and here all the. Thank you, sorry.
And super organized, by the way. Like we had slides with maps and all the things. It was rock star. So, okay. Any questions on events? All right. Facility updates. I don't have a PowerPoint, but I just want to remind you of, oh shoot. Hold on, I have to rejoin this session and probably go invite myself again. Oh, thank you, Amy.
I'll just say.
Don't sit down just yet, because then you have to approve me.
While we're waiting for that, I'll just say, how about that generator?
I've thought about you so much. Thank you. So here's where we are at. I was hoping to have really great news for you at this meeting to then bring to we have a facility, safety, security, long range facility plan committee meeting next Monday on the 16th. And I was hoping we could chat about how great this McKinstry presentation was of the proposal for closing in and making one building. So close the office in with the K2 doors sort of, and then having the vestibule. That will run through our committee next Monday and then be brought to you in April. Essentially, it's going to be more money than we thought, which isn't surprising. But the actual planning and preparation to get to a decision about what to do is going to cost us some money as well. So for right now, we will need to have some recommendations for the board to actually consider at our April meeting that the committee will come up with. But this is where we're going to start. So like this roof leak that's been taken care of is added on to here. And it is a high priority, but also the roof maintenance. So we don't get so dilapidated that we do need to replace. Like this is sort of a perfect example of why we need the consistent maintenance plan. So the committee will actually be reviewing this and come to you with some recommendations because we will have had the bid. So all of these things are just going to be compiled, but we have lots of high priority items. So we have 27 rows of high priority items, which all can't be a high priority when you don't have a bond that has passed. So we do have quite a bit of reserves. There is a alternate plan to not being able to run a bond and still secure the office building, which is one of my high priority items. But I just want you to know that it's like 2 steps forward and then kind of 7 backwards, which doesn't surprise any of you with the facilities at Kyla School without a bond that has passed. But if you guys would like to look through this and have any comments to any committee members, I'm happy to just share this with you as a viewer. Okay. And you can see things that have, like some are dream bigs, right? Like AC in all the classrooms. Low priority, a want. So feel free to ask me questions. Just make sure that if you're responding to each other, you're just replying instead of replying, if you wouldn't mind on this. That ends my PowerPoint for the night. Which is on the list next. It might move from medium to high priority. I don't know.
Okay, it to April 13th. Right, that's close. But by then, if you haven't filed, you have it.
I will probably have to put out a first set of bills, just so we don't get any late fees.
I looked at it. So we have policy 1400. We probably should, if we're going to change the date, but it doesn't actually item in vote. But there is conflict with the 8th of September.
Great news. So we got our GT grant approved from the state. So I will be taking Amy and Brandy, so our title teacher / testing coordinator and our GT coordinator, to Bozeman to the Exceptional Children's Conference, which is where anybody in the state that we would want to consult with will already be. And that is the 8th and 9th of April. So you can have it on the 8th. I will be digital. Also, just
I think that everything we tabled tonight, it should be there.
Be easier to navigate all here.
It's there. But fine. So if we want our admin present, we change it to the 8th at 2:30. Does that work?
I can do that.
Yeah. Sure. That's back then.
So our next meeting will be April 15th at 3:30.
Great.
Gonna take a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Talk to you guys.
Get on the board, source.